All right, hello, everybody. We are doing our Snarkfest. Marie, as we mentioned last time, is not here. She's on her little vacation with her sister-in-law, or sis. I think it's a sister-in-law. It could be a sister. I don't know. She's on vacation. So we have Becky again. Welcome.
Hello.
And this movie was done by your request. Do you want to tell them what it is?
So, this is the original Muppet
Oh,
movie, the 1979 version. This has a special place in my heart because this was one of those movies I grew up watching as a kid where all the jokes just went right over my head. And then I went back and watched
yeah.
it as an adult a few months ago, and I enjoyed it immensely more because I actually understood the jokes and I actually knew all the celebrity cameos. And also, the plot kind of has a special place in my heart too, because it's supposed to be like an origin story of the Muppets and how Kermit went to Hollywood to go make it big. And I'm kind of going on a similar journey now as we speak, with me going to IMTA in January. So
Woo!
yeah,
Rock
yeah,
on!
this very much has a special place in my heart.
I know I have seen this movie, but I don't remember anything about it because it. I know I watched it, but I watched it as so long ago as a kid that I can't remember anything about it. And
You're in for a treat. You're in for a treat.
yeah, like I said, I know I've seen it. I know I've seen all the Muppet movies. It's just which one's which. Couldn't tell you. So, so yeah, a lot of this is. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that, or oh yeah. But like I said, it's been so long, I cannot honestly remember anything about this movie. So let's get in. Gosh, do I even remember all the Muppets? There's a Kermit, Piggy, the chef,
There's Fozzie,
Fozzie,
Gonzo.
Gonzo. There are the two old guys,
Yep.
Waldruff and Statler. I think their names are. Um, yeah, so I can hardly remember all their names. So, all right, well, let's get started. So, if everybody got their stuff ready, this is on Disney Plus. Words are hard today. I'm sorry, but this is on Disney Plus. So, if anybody wants to watch along with us, feel free to get loaded up. And everybody ready? And in three, two, one, play. Maybe. There we go. I'm gonna. Uh, Jim Henson Pictures, studio that kind of. I don't. I'm not sure if it was bought out or what, but it's not really a thing anymore,
Most
unfortunately.
likely bought out by Disney. Most likely.
Well,
Who
yeah. Well,
didn't
considering
Disney?
Disney buys everything.
Yeah, who hasn't Disney bought out? Let's be honest.
Well, I mean, quite honestly, with the way things are going, I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow I get a letter. By the way, you're being bought by Disney.
Dude, you sound
Not
really
not your
distorted.
Snarkfest. No, you.
You sound really distorted. I don't know what's going on.
My internet is shoddy, so I know. I'm just looking at my connection bar. I got one bar red, so that's probably why. So can you hear me? Yes, no.
You still sound like a robot.
Yeah. Like I said, my internet connection is really crap right now, so that's probably why. I'm sorry. Uh, Crap. There's nothing I can do about it.
You sound like
Yeah, it's
robots
just
at
my
its
connection
best,
is horrible.
dude. Dude, this is a
Yeah,
sensory nightmare.
it's yeah. Let me try something here. Hold on.
Okay, that's better.
That better?
Yeah,
Yes. Okay.
yes.
Now all I did was turn off my Bluetooth speaker and reset the sound system, so that
Yeah, that's
hopefully that
probably the
stays.
problem. Bluetooth
Hopefully
fucks up everything,
yeah.
so
No, but the thing is, the Bluetooth speaker is not connected to this laptop. It's connected to my old one, so that's why I'm confused how it's doing it. But this is so. And man, should mention this has got to be really poor for the actors because since these are all Muppets, it's literally a bunch of actors laying down on the ground with their hands up in the puppets, control the puppets, and
Oh
everybody
yeah,
trying not to kick each other because, like I said, everybody's laying on the ground. I
actually,
mean, well, that or they built. Oh,
the first scene of the movie with Kermit singing in the swamp, they actually had to build a log in the swamp for Jim Henson to lay in to operate Kermit.
oh no.
So he's
Oh,
laying
that's
in a log in a fucking swamp. Whatever Jim Henson was making on this movie, it clearly wasn't enough.
not enough. We've had that conversation before about a few times. But no, yeah, Jim Henson, an absolute professional and just
A
man.
legend.
Yes, yes.
So
Oh
yes,
my
here
god, they
we
got a
are.
little frog. I forgot about that.
Yep, his nephew Robin. So
What's a
yep,
little
here we are opening with the origin story of the Muppets.
opening the movie? Yeah. No, it's like they're watching the movie inside the movie, which is awesome. So,
Yep, a movie within a movie.
yep,
Yep. And of course, you can tell by the graphics, this is very 70s.
yeah.
Yep, the graphics of the opening credits.
Paul Williams. Oh yeah, and you could tell. Oh man, Joe Schilling. Oh man, you got some. I'm just trying to like, okay, all these names, like some of these are clearly from other countries. So, nice shot. Yeah, producer
Yep.
Jim Henson. Yeah,
For the late
everything.
for the late 70s though, for the late 70s, the cinematography in this first shot is beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah, hell yeah. No, but yeah, it needs to be mentioned. If ever Muppets, it's Jim Henson because Jim Henson not only did he create it, he operated a lot of the Muppets. I mean, because I've heard stories about how him like having two
He
hands
voiced a
operating one
lot
Muppet
of
at a
them.
time. Yeah,
He voiced a
he
lot of
yeah.
them. Like he was the original voice of Kermit.
Okay, great example. If you think of Star Trek, if you think of South Park with Trey Parker and the other one's name, Rack.
Matt
But yeah,
Stone.
it's basically that. It's that's him with that's Muppets with Jim Henson. He because like I said, he didn't just this wasn't just an idea he pitched. No, this is an idea he pitched. He made every damn thing about it. So
Yep. This one is very much a labor of love.
yeah, very
And
much. Well,
this opening song that Kermit's singing ended up becoming one of the most famous songs in the Muppets soundtrack.
yeah, definitely. Oh man, yeah. You will like. Oh, you can actually see the um where the log where they built the log so he's not drowning.
Yep. Yep.
Could have made that a little bit more seamless, but hey, why not?
Again, for the late 70s, this is superb.
Now I'm just trying because I know because I know one hand is up in Kermit's head and the other hand is controlling the arm, which is basically a little stick. Um, and then obviously the third hand there is if the third hand's being operated, it's being operated by a third person. But it looks like that one's just just stationary on the banjo.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, no, it is moving. So yeah, then they would have someone moving it up and down. Yeah, so someone there is that means there is a third person unless it's robotic, which I doubt being considering 1970s. And robotics at this time were very expensive and
Oh
not
yeah.
exactly fine too. Which no, but that reminds me of when we actually get to Jurassic Park. I have a story about that. But yeah,
Now, this movie's
Let's put
also like this movie pushed what was possible for puppetry at the
yes.
time.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
It's
A
also
lot of
the first Muppet property where you can actually see their feet, whereas the original Muppet Show, which had been airing for a few seasons prior to this, you could only see the Muppets from the waist up because obviously the puppeteers would be underneath.
yes. So I'm right now. My mind's just flashing back because oh, I just remember
Recognize
like growing up as a kid, me and my family would watch like the Muppets TV show on TV and stuff like that. All right, now who is this actor here?
it's the late great Dom DeLuise.
Oh my gosh, it is.
Yep.
Oh, that is a
This is
shame
just
when he
one of many fabulous cameos in this movie.
yeah.
This is the first of many more to come.
Yeah, and yeah, you want to talk about a tragedy when he passed away? Yeah,
Oh yeah.
because he was hilarious.
Oh God, yes. Voices so many characters
Yeah.
throughout my childhood, and he was in like
Mhm.
so many Don Bluth movies too.
Mhm. Well, yeah, and I know I've talked about this a little bit before, but it is so hard to be able to act across from because you got to remember he likely can't hear Jim. So when he's acting across of nothing except a Muppet that's doing this. And like I said, he likely cannot hear what Jim's saying. So that means that there's probably a third party on set telling him, okay, say this. Okay, pause while responding. Okay, say this. Yeah, I'm sorry. Whenever someone's acting next to a puppet, I just think that is so fucking hard.
It is.
Because
There's
Because I mean, if you're acting with someone else across, you can play off them. You can, you have something to work with. But with a
whereas
puppet or
you
voice
have to
acting
use
for
your
that matter too,
imagination
you
to
don't have that.
you have to use your imagination to fill in a lot of the blanks.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's also like, okay, how do you respond? Because like, it's very different. Like, if you say, "Oh, hi, how are you doing?" versus, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" So, I mean, just the tone too also plays an effect. So, like I said, this is just oh, oh, the alligator, obviously a
Yep.
fake alligator.
Yeah.
Uh, um, if a reality of an alligator is coming at you like that, I'm pretty sure you'd probably be fine because an alligator is probably not going to decide to take on a boat. But if it does get
Probably
close to you,
not.
take the paddle and whack it on the freaking head as hard as you can. Granted, that's one thing. There's a lot of things like, oh, if you're attacked by a shark, this is how you defend yourself. With an alligator, not a lot you can really do. If an alligator decides to eat you, you're kind of in trouble. You're just getting away from the water. That's all you can do.
Oh yeah.
Man, how the hell? How did they get Kermit to ride on a bike?
That's why this was so revolutionary for the time. They were doing stuff with
I'm just
puppetry
like
that
trying
had
to think because I
never
mean,
been done
obviously,
before.
obviously now you just CGI it, but at this time, what could they possibly do? I'm trying to think, what they could have done because I'm not seeing any strings, but that would probably be my best guess. Yeah, how do you not realize what's behind you or in front of you, for that matter? Ouch.
Oh God, this next scene has so many jokes that went over my head when I was a kid. The El Sleazo Cafe.
Yep, here we go. Oh man. Don't frog. Yeah, if you're going into a foreign restaurant, there may be frog legs in there. Ouch. And yeah, also needs to be said. Oh, the cameo.
Why don't you complain to the owner? I am the owner. It just went over my head as a kid.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm sorry, my mind just goes to the old airplane joke. It's like it was the roughest, sleaziest dive bar this side of the ocean, just like Detroit.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting a lot of airplane vibes from this scene. I have a feeling the writers were heavily inspired.
Yeah, Frog, like, yep, told you, called it. Which, have you ever had frog legs?
I have not, but I've heard they taste like chicken.
They do. They are very tasty. I like them. Oh, gee, hello. At this point, you run.
That was another scene that went over my head
Yeah,
when
well,
I was a kid.
right now, like I said, at this point, just run. If that ever happens, just bail. Don't shoot the don't shoot the piano player.
Yep.
Which, mind you, I do know in a lot of really crappy bars, they have actual cages because people will
Oh
get
yeah.
so
People
pissed
will throw
off and just
shit.
throw beer bottles. So yeah, that's just what I mind.
And of course, we're introduced to Fozzie Bear, who was and still is to this day played by the legendary Frank Oz,
Yep.
who also plays Yoda.
Mm-hmm. Uh, if there's a Muppet series that you know of, Frank Oz has a part in it.
Oh
He's
yeah,
in every damn.
he is a legend.
Yeah. Which I mean, I'm trying to think. I don't think Frank Oz ever worked like directly for Jim Henson, but like you said, he's in every dang thing.
Oh yeah, he also plays Miss Piggy as well.
That too.
Yep.
Which when I found that out, I'm like, wow, dude, you got range.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, professional three performances. That doesn't make you professional.
Even the extras look
Place
bored out
number
of their mind here, which is perfect for this
yeah,
scene. Normally it doesn't work having been an extra, but yes, for this scene it's invited.
yeah. Well, it reminds me of I've talked about extras before, and like if we ever do like an actual military movie, I look forward to the amount of stories I can tell because I've talked to people who've actually done that, and the amount of pranks that extras pull on each other is hilarious.
Oh god, yes.
No, like I said, I'm just like, okay, how did they shoot this? A lot. This is clear. When they're dancing, that's clearly stop motion.
Oh
This is
yeah.
clearly stop motion. You just see based on how they move. But yeah. Oh yeah. And here, just take the puppet and act around with the puppet. Yeah, that's literally all they're doing. Oh,
And of course we have the classic ceiling fan gag.
of course, which doesn't work in real life, but hey.
No,
Oh God,
but it's
didn't
still
Scrubs do
funny.
that too? Didn't Scrubs do that too?
I'm sure they did.
I
Either way,
Yeah, they did. JD is like sticking his hand, or not JD. Turk is sticking his hand through the fan and then gets caught. Whee!
on today's
And
episode of
actually,
Jokes That Don't Age Well,
oh yeah.
drinks are on the house. Once again, that joke
And
went over my head
everybody's
when I was a
on
kid.
the yeah, went right over. Works every. How often have you pulled that when you've only worked there 3 times?
Right?
Yeah. Oh man. And word of advice: if you ever go out to, if you're one of these people who do go out to Hollywood, because unfortunately that still happens a lot today, even though it's not really required. Don't pick up some stranger you just met at some dive bar. It's not going to work out for you.
Yeah, no. I plan to do
You
a
know
lot of
nothing
ass
about
kissing
this
while I'm at
guy.
the bar in LA, but I'm not actually going to. Yeah.
Yeah, please don't. But yeah, well, I know I've talked to you about this a lot of, especially in like TV shows and movies. It's not what you know; it's who you know. That's how you get
Bingo.
into it, and that's why Harvey Weinstein was able to prey on so many women for so long. Yeah, and like I
I'm
said,
not
this is why
above a
you
little.
don't.
I'm not
Yeah,
above a little brown nosing.
no comment.
And we're introduced to our villain.
Yep. Howdy, Mr. Fraud.
Back in the day when they had TVs in the window.
Yeah, no doubt. Don't do that anymore.
Yep. It's a relic of a bygone era.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hello. That's a very poor puppet.
Frog costume is fucking creepy.
Oh,
Like
wow, that
nightmare
is.
inducing.
I'm sorry that I know that it's the 1970s and I don't want to get on that, but I could make that. I mean, give me $100 and I could
I have
have
to
some
again.
people sew that together, except better.
Yeah.
You could make something better with us than $100.
Give me a hot glue
Seriously.
gun and I'll go to
Yeah,
town.
yeah. Any amateur cosplayer will be able to do that, except better. My God. I mean, like I said, I mean that's part of the joke that it's supposed to look cheap, but
Yeah.
wow.
But that's not cheap. That's nightmare inducing.
Yeah, thank you. Yep.
Five hundred
$500
dollars.
up front. That's
Oh, I wonder how much that was back in the 70s.
yeah. I'm trying to think of that too, because like $500 now, that's not
That's still
that's
more
a
than I
good
made at my
amount to
that's still more than I made at my last extra gig, but
fair enough.
to be
Yeah,
a
but still, yeah, don't
to be a spokesperson where you're advocating for your own species to be eaten, that's not nearly enough.
yeah, no doubt. That's a good point. I don't want to be the guy, trying to get everybody to eat Soylent Green. So nice hat.
Oh
Although the
yeah.
hat is clearly taped.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had a little when we see him fall backwards. It just reminded me what happened. I sent you a picture about it, but yeah. Oh, here we go.
I plan to listen to this song when I'm on my way to LA. When I'm riding the train from my dad's place to LA. This is going to be on the playlist.
Why did we not listen to this song when we were on our way to Grand Junction?
We should have listened to this.
Oh man, when we took that, yeah. Granted, I don't think you had it saved on your phone, so but still.
Yeah, I didn't have it on my phone at the time.
I'm sharing. I know this song, so now. Oh, I do remember a joke coming up here.
Oh yeah, the fork in the
Yeah,
road.
right here. You're left on the fork in the road, and there's a literal fork.
It legit looks like they just drove through Fairplay.
Yeah. Although it should be mentioned what that fork was, because it was clearly not secured to the road in any way, and so
No,
clearly
it
what it
wasn't.
was is just okay, balance it up there, get away, and hope to God it doesn't fall.
Right? Like most movie props at the time.
Yeah, especially now. Yeah, it's like you said at the time, a lot of props were very much okay. Put this there and pray to God, do not bump that because it will fall and break. And it's a granted that's an easy granted if it were to have fallen, it'd be an easy reset. Just pick it back up, bring the car back, and go again. But still,
Here's a familiar face.
oh.
I want to say this was back when Jim Henson was starting his partnership with Sesame Street.
Yep. And Big Bird, if anybody doesn't know, if Big Bird is one hand is up in the head and the other hand controls one of the arms, and the other arm is literally just pretty much strapped to the chest.
And
So
what's pretty
yeah, I
impressive
mean,
too
like
is
I said, what's up?
what's pretty impressive too is it's still the same guy playing Big Bird since the very beginning.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh god, that is really crappy snow effect. Wow. They couldn't do something better than paper flakes for that snow effect? Wow.
They tried. They tried. Right along. Right
The problem is, me
along.
and you could sing this verbatim, and we just we can't do that.
All right, which part do you want if we were to do this as a duet? I'll sing all of Kermit's parts. You can be Fozzie.
When we do karaoke.
Yeah.
And oh man, I'm trying to think where would they be just based on the location because clearly they're in Hollywood. They're in California. But I'm trying to from the looks of this. Oh my dear lord, how'd
Nah,
you get there so fast?
they're not in California yet. There's a scene where they stop at Texas, and there's another scene where they spend the night in Idaho.
No, I'm talking about where they shot it.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, I'm from based on the location. I would assume they are doing it in Northern California, but obviously I could be very wrong. But
There's
yeah.
farmland in SoCal, depending on where you go.
Well, that is one thing about California is that if you're in California, you're pretty much if you need any type of location setting, you're pretty much within. If you need a desert, go that way. If you need a forest, go that way. So, granted, that's why California was very much like New Zealand is now, except now it's so urbanized that you can't really do it in California anymore. That's why everybody's going to New Zealand.
That's true.
When Lord of the Rings, Chronicle of Narnia, even some Harry Potter movies, or at least
Oh
I
yeah.
think Harry Potter movies. I don't think Harry Potter was shot entirely in New Zealand, but I do know they did some there.
Believe it or not, some of the earlier Disney Channel movies they shot in New Zealand.
Doesn't surprise me at all, especially because it's super cheap to shoot in New Zealand too.
Oh yeah.
Hold on, you're driving. You're driving. Stop looking at the map. You're driving. I mean, I know it's part of the bit, but still.
Yeah, this joke would never work today.
Yep.
Lost. Have you tried Rev Hare Krishna?
I didn't hear what you said, unfortunately.
It was
You
the
kind
sign outside the church. It said, "Lost. Have you tried Reverend Hare Krishna?" And that becomes a running joke in the movie too.
Yep. I heard you say lost, but then you broke out for me. Like I said, I got a very crappy internet connection right now, so I do apologize. But yeah. The band.
Yep. Honestly, for a band that was created just for the Muppets, Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem were way better than they had any right to be.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Especially because they were borrowing
Didn't they
so
have
heavily.
solo albums?
Well, they were borrowing so heavily from music that was already popular at the time that had a lot of like Cajun influence, a lot of Motown influence.
Yeah, but I think they even released some solo albums, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but
Well, that wouldn't surprise me.
yeah. But like you said, this they were not just a bit part in the movie. They became a thing. All
Yeah,
right, so
they were once again, way better than they had any right to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And the classic gold tooth, because of course.
Yep, Dr. Teeth.
And animal elm drums, because
Animal. Animal!
yeah.
Animal!
I just thought of another clip. I don't think it's from this movie, but isn't there a clip where they're like in a college, and then like Kermit's giving like a graduation speech, then just some girl who runs by screaming, and you see Animal following. Woman, woman. Talk about
I'll
a
have to
joke that
see
would
that
not age
later.
that age poorly.
I'll have to see that clip
Hey,
later. I don't think I've
Scooter.
seen it yet. Scooter.
Okay, now I know Scooter had a sister in like the TV show, but was that just for the TV show, or is that
Might
actually
have
a thing in the
been.
movie?
Might have been. We don't
What?
see Scooter's sister here.
Yeah, like I said, it's been so long since I watched anything Muppets, so profitable. You don't need to tell them that you were living in a swamp. Yeah, you just. Oh, thank you. Yeah, breaking the fourth wall there. Thank you. Just for this. Yeah, and they pull up the script, which, mind you, I don't know if that's the actual script or not, but still, it's a super easy prop.
Well, and it's hard to do a fourth wall joke without it being like super campy or cheesy. Here,
Yeah,
it works.
it
It
does work. So,
works.
yeah.
Like, this is one of those movies that practically begs for a fourth wall break.
Yes, yes. Doctor Teeth. Is that seriously his name? Wow.
Yeah, Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem.
Like I said, it's been so long since I watched anything of this. I don't remember half their names. So I
I'm
remember
surprised
Animal, but that's it.
I'm surprised I did.
And they're asleep.
This next part might make my
We
favorite
need a
song.
clever plot device.
Yep, this next part's probably my favorite song in the movie.
And this is super. Okay, now they're doing a paint job on the car. Now I'm just when they come back to it, it's going to be a completely different model of car, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
they
don't remember.
they end up trading the car for a bus.
Why not?
Or no, wait, they trade that car for a nicer car,
Okay,
and then that car breaks down the desert, and then Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem come by in a bus and then pick them up in the desert, and they go the rest of the way there. The end. Spoiler alert.
Cut to. Oh, jeez. I'm sorry. With the church shaking, I'm just thinking, okay, that means that church was specifically built for the movie. And oh dear Lord, I'm just trying to think how it's either super, super expensive in that you got to have all these parts being able to move, or it's super, super cheap in that it's literally just people poking stuff and praying to God they don't go too hard and it breaks.
If the church be a rockin', don't come a knockin'.
Yep. How do they not? Okay, Kermit and Fonzie are still asleep at this point. How do they not wake up?
Right?
I just thought of another movie we need to do. Not the Cusco. What movie? Emperor's New
Emperor's
Groove.
New Groove, yes, we gotta do that.
How'd you get here before us? How did we, Crunk?
Pull the lever! Wrong lever!
My niece actually did that. At a swimming park, they have one of those drop slides. At a swimming park near here, they have one of those drop slides. She got into the slide. This is like she watched the movie. She got into the slide and then said that to the guy. And then when the guy pulled the lever, she screamed that. Okay. I was hoping it'd be a different model of car, but unfortunately it is not. It is still the same model of car, which, considering the budget of this movie,
With a
probably
badass
makes
paint
sense.
job. Just
Yeah.
with a badass paint job.
Yeah. If you lived in South Dakota, you'd paint my car like that, wouldn't you?
Probably. While playing this song in the background.
Yeah. This frog does everything. He even writes a. You're going. Okay,
Right.
this guy.
I'm gaining on him. I'm gaining on him.
Oh man.
Clever.
Yeah. Good luck getting that one to work. Gonzo.
Yep, here's where we bring in Gonzo.
Now, I'm just trying to think what was the budget of this movie, because I know it wasn't super high budget, but I don't think it was shoestring budget.
No, it wasn't
I'm trying
shoestring
to
budget
remember.
for sure. It wasn't
Well, I mean,
super expensive, but it was enough to where Henson Studios considered this a considerable risk.
yes. Well, I mean, because yeah, but in this
Especially with
time
all
frame, there's no in the 1970s. There's no way you could make a movie of puppeteer of pretty much entirely of puppets, and not have that be a considerable investment.
not just that, but look at all the celebrity cameos they eventually got for
Yeah,
this
that
movie
too. That
too.
too. Oh dear Lord, I forgot about that. One car on top of the other.
Yep.
Obviously, it's not really a one car sitting on top of the other. The top one is clearly just a hollow out model, but still, because there's no way a car, the uprights of a car, be able to support another car on top of it.
Right.
Yeah, you don't go to Bombay to become a movie star.
I mean,
Well,
unless
sure,
you
if you
want
want to
to
do
do,
the easy.
if you want to do Bollywood movies, maybe, but
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Oh my god, they didn't even secure the. Oh wow, they didn't even secure the top model. The model is literally just on top of it, and it's because you can see it's rocking back and forth quite a lot. So it's like, wow. So it's not, if it's secured, it's only secured by like 2 screws, and that's it. Because otherwise,
two
holy
screws and a
cow,
prayer. 2 screws and
it's
a prayer.
pretty much. Like maybe not even 2 screws, maybe just a bunch of chewed up gum. Seriously. Oh wow. Check out the model of those cars.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm curious, is for these cars, I'm assuming they probably did, or at least what would be super cheap for them to do, is get anybody in production, have them park here, put little signs up on top of them. And,
I would
yeah,
not be surprised if
obviously
that's
this
what
car
they
is
did.
prop, but yeah. And the Bigfoot one, I forget his name. Jack. Okay. Not to talk in front of the customers. Like I said, obviously the Beetle here is obviously a prop, because
Oh yeah.
there's no way you can move
Everything
a car
else
around like that.
though, everything else that wouldn't surprise me. Like yeah,
Yeah,
they
like I
said the
said,
production.
yeah. Everything else, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, like I said, unless you see him deliberately like picking it up or something. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like just a bunch of cars from production, have them all park here, maybe do something to make them look old and beat up. But yeah, because otherwise, I mean, I wouldn't think they'd go to a used car joint.
Probably not.
Yep, he's in. Where are you going up, Fonzie? Yes, how would you not notice the big Bigfoot?
Right. Yeah, this is the
He's
part of the
not that
movie
far
where they're
behind.
down in. This is the part of the movie where I presume they're down in Texas. No other state would have a fair like this.
Mm-hmm. Nowadays, you can still find a fair like this in Texas.
Oh yeah, probably covering a lot more
No way
square
you could.
acreage, but yes.
Yeah, I seriously doubt you can find it in California, unfortunately, but Texas, hell yeah.
Well, you might in California, just be on the beach.
Yeah. Bogan County beauty pageant. Oh wow.
Oh yeah, pageants are really big down in Texas too, so
And the chicken. Now, like I said, I'm not. I haven't watched the Muppets in a long time, but isn't like Kermit, Gonzo, and Fonzie? Aren't they like the big three? And then you got
yep,
Miss Piggy, so big four, I guess. Yeah.
yep.
Okay.
So, fun fact, the actor playing the judge, the ventriloquist actor, that's Ed Bergen, and he was Jim Henson's idol.
Really?
Yeah, he was
Wow.
like one of the
Really?
best
Wow.
ventriloquists of his time. This was actually, I think, Ed Bergen's last major movie before he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So to get one of
Wow.
your
I did not
idols,
know that.
yeah, to get one of your idols to appear in your movie and have it be their last credit, what an
Yeah, no
honor!
doubt. And here we get Miss Piggy. Yeah. No, but I do know of some other movies like where it's like the actor has a whole complete meltdown of like you're my idol. I looked up to you, and now I'm acting alongside of you.
Yep.
Well, I mean, one comes to my mind immediately. Recently, the Power Rangers did a whole anniversary, and they had Tommy from the original Green Ranger, come in, and like the actors who he's working like were just like it's like on their knees. We worship you. We are not worthy type thing. Oh yeah, whole love at first sight thing.
Mhm.
Except is that does Kermit actually love Miss Piggy? I don't know.
No, it's very one-sided. I think Kermit
Yes.
puts up with Piggy. I think,
Yeah,
yeah,
fair enough.
at best he
So it's a lot like
tolerates
your
her.
friendship with me. So it's a lot like your friendship with me. You just tolerate me.
Well, in
I'm
this,
joking, obviously.
at least in this movie, it seems like Kermit kinda has feelings for Piggy, but then she totally ditches him to go to an audition.
Yeah.
So at the end of the
Which,
day,
by the way, not a good thing to do.
Piggy cares a little more about her career at the end of the day than she does about Kermit. I'm not
Yeah.
saying a lot.
And the Muppet drop. Okay. So for the Muppet drowning sequence, that means they were actually, I don't know, I seriously doubt it was Jim Henson, but there was someone manipulating Kermit underwater. So I'm like, did he
Yep.
just hold his breath and do that? Or, like I said, there's a lot of things, especially in the olden days. Jaws is a big one. If we ever do Jaws, I got a big story of like This would be considered torture in other countries. In Hollywood, it's a career. It's career.
Yep. It's just another day at work.
Let me just put it this way: in Jaws, they legitimately waterboarded one of the actresses. Okay, let's just put it like that. And I don't say that facetiously. I mean legit.
I hate to say it, but I'm not surprised.
So, like I said, I'll save that for when we do Jaws. But yeah.
Hey, Mabel. You gonna watch with us? Hey, Mabel.
Your cat? Hey, we got kitties.
Catto the catto.
And now everybody will just be watching the cat.
Catto your catto. Meow, meow, meow. Petto your catto. Petto your catto. Meow, meow, meow. Petto your catto. Petto your catto. Meow. Petto your
I should have known that was
catto.
coming.
I had a dream that Mabel became famous because she made that song a hit. I should turn that into a TikTok or some shit.
Please, God, no. Oh,
It'd be
man.
funny.
That would be funny. Well, I mean, my mind just goes to the joke I played on you yesterday, but my mind also goes. What's
Fuck
up?
me, I don't remember. What did you do yesterday? I don't remember.
I had the strangest dream last night.
Oh!
It's from a song. Granted, my mind is also thinking of the whole Dragon Ball Z abridged thing of cat loves food, yeah. Cat loves food, yeah.
I feel like the fair scene, they just tried to cram in as many celebrity cameos as possible.
Yeah.
Like the balloon guy, that's Richard Pryor.
Yep, I recognize him.
Yep. They try to shove in as many celebrity cameos as possible in the scene after this one and at the very end, too.
Yeah. Yeah, here we go. Richard Pryor, love him.
Yep.
Richard Pryor is one of those guys where, like, when he was in Superman, I love him. So, yeah. I mean, talk about, like, okay, there are a few actors where I cried when I found out they passed away. He's one of them. Because, like I said, he's so awesome. He's hilarious.
You'll get to one of the ones I cried for in this movie as well.
Mm-hmm. There are a couple more.
Yep.
I just thought of something. Did Robin Williams ever do anything with the Muppets? I don't think he did.
He might have. Maybe. I don't know.
He must have done something. He maybe like on the show or something.
He might have had it. I'd be very surprised if he wasn't a special guest on one of the shows at some point.
Yeah. But I'm like, I can't remember. But okay, mind you, there are like 18,000 Muppets movies, so I can't really. So I'm not an authority figure on it. But I cannot think of any time where he's done anything in the Muppets movies. So I'm like, I mean, if he was in the show, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he was in the show. But oh man, I just talk about something that would have been amazing. That if it hadn't happened, was just tragic. Oh, and there goes Gonzo. Bye bye.
Yep. This becomes a running gag. Which,
to be fair, with those puppets, it would actually be very easy for them to fly away if you actually tied them to the balloons.
Oh yeah. This was green screened.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't think it was green screen, but yeah, there was some special effects in some kind.
Yeah.
This part is, and obviously what it is someone holding on to the top of the balloons as they maneuver it across the green screen.
Yep.
Fonzie, pair left. What? Turn left. This is like flying. Really? No, yep, there they are.
Yep. Oh
I'm
god, this
sorry.
is
I'm
hilarious.
sorry. There is so many.
It's hilarious.
Where'd you get a gun? There's no way you'd be able to aim that shotgun accurately from a distance. That's a. That's probably birdshot. My mind is going back to all the stupid films I made in high school and all the stupid things that we could have gotten into so much trouble for.
The pie bar
Oh dear.
reminds me of the dream you told me about.
What's up?
The pie part reminds me of the dream you told me about. You had about me.
Oh, one of my many, many strange dreams.
Once again, on today's episodes of Jokes That Won't Age Well.
Yeah, no doubt. How have you not caught up with them already, dude? Seriously.
Once again.
Well, yeah. After all, I did was try. Yeah, 100-foot belly flop on a movie card. That actually would kill you if you actually did in real life, but hey, why not? It's a movie. Yeah, I had to have a quiet little dinner.
Oh god, this next part.
Yeah, oh, wow. Buzzard Beach. Aren't you supposed to be in a relationship with the chicken anyway, Gonzo?
Right?
Which, mind you, what is Gonzo?
I think it's some
No one
kind of
knows.
turkey or something.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, dear Lord.
Yep, this is the part where they're in Idaho. And they have a romantic dinner, and Steve Martin's the waiter.
Yeah, Steve Martin, awesome, love him.
Yep,
Thank God he hasn't passed away yet.
right? That's gonna
No,
suck.
yeah,
That
no,
day's gonna suck.
no doubt. I'm just, oh man. I mean, a lot of people, but here's some of the Steve Martin. A lot of people don't actually realize how old he is.
That's
Because,
true.
I mean, he's kind of like, he almost has a face like Patrick Stewart of that. He doesn't really age anymore.
He still maintains the same face.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. But yeah, but look, this is 19. Oh, dear Lord, I forgot about the short shorts.
Yep.
Wow. But yeah, but look, this is Steve Martin, 1979. So 40 years, 50 years ago almost.
He still
And
looks
he
very
has not aged
similar,
a day.
doesn't he? Doesn't he? He still looks very much like he did here.
Yeah.
What's his secret?
There's a running joke with me and some of my friends about stuff like that, but it's not, it's like I said, it's a running gag, so I seriously doubt you'd get it, but still.
It's an inside joke.
I do know this used to be a thing of, like, if they just popped it, there's like, you want to smell the bottle. I do know that used to be a thing. I don't know if it still is anymore.
Probably not unless you go to a more high-end tasting place.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, it should be 95. Should be 95 cents back when, yeah, back when 95 cents could actually get you something.
Right? Like what?
Well, 1979, that could 95 cents could have probably get you maybe a 12 pack of soda.
I was just gonna say 95
Now,
cents is like today's $5.
yeah, yeah. Well, let's just put it this way: 95 cents today is not enough to get you a candy bar. And back in the day, like I said, probably be like you probably get a 12 pack of soda for it.
It's just
I mean,
barely
like I
enough
said,
to get a gumball out of a gumball machine.
Mhm.
Whereas yesterday, you could put pennies in the machine.
Well, Well, I remember growing up, my like in the summer when I was a little kid, my mom would have like me and my brothers would have like a scavenger hunt where she'd leave us like $1 each, and then we'd walk up to the store, get a bottle of Poppins and like two candy bars for $1. Good luck doing that now, unless the candy bars are that big. Unless your
Good
candy bar is a
God.
Hershey's thing.
We sound old. We're old.
My niece calls me old all the time. I'm used to it. And I'm not. The sad part is I'm not joking. Because I've talked to my niece about like, oh, you're watching these shows. When I was growing up, I was watching like Hogan's Heroes. And she just looks at me, you're old.
I'm one of the oldest people signed to my agency, and I joke about it every chance I get and just run with it.
Awesome,
Like
yes.
yesterday, we did an improv exercise where the person, place, and thing was a toothpick at an aquarium with a lion tamer, and one of the 12-year-olds was like, "What's a lion tamer?" And I'm like, "You're not old enough to remember when animal circuses were still legal, aren't you?"
No doubt.
Yeah,
How?
this
How do you
this
not know? I'm sorry. I'm just like lion. Mind you, well, me. I've had this conversation with you a lot of times. Like, I don't follow modern music because it's crap. And then, oh man.
and this is the part where we meet Rolf the dog.
Yep.
My dad always liked Rolf the dog, probably because my dad's first name is Ralph, and that's very similar to Rolf.
Hey.
So
Now, something that always got me is like I know a lot of like really good professional piano players. They don't even need to see the board and they can play it out of tune. I've always been curious with him. Is it one of those situations where they have someone else operating the mouth and then someone using the hands? I don't think so. If you don't see the hands obviously manipulating the keys, and obviously not. But like here, we see it like he's playing music, but we don't actually see the hands manipulating the keys to clear what it is just like just two people doing that. Okay, yeah, so it's not. It's just doing this type of thing. Okay,
this is where we see the range of Jim Henson as a character actor too, because he provides the voices for both Kermit and Rolf.
Jim Harrison, you're acting alongside yourself. Have fun.
Yep, that's pretty much what this whole scene is.
Which means that he just added it, which has to be a fun day of recording because you're just voicing yourself, and then you cut to voicing yourself, and then you
Oh
cut
yeah.
to. Well, it just reminds me of South Park, Family Guy. Seth MacFarlane has days where he literally just goes into the studio, sits down in his little voice booth, whatever, and just records the entire flipping show with no one else there because
That
he
sounds like
voices everything.
that sounds like a dream come true.
What, going to a studio and locking yourself in a room?
Fuck yeah, and get paid to do it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Sure.
If I got paid to sit and just well,
Talk to
I did
yourself
have
the
a
whole
I
day.
Well, I did have a job. I
Mm.
remember when I first met you, I had a job where it was like, okay, you're going to drive to Rapid City now, have fun. So I
Mm.
would literally just sit in the car, drive, and I'd be talking to myself the entire time.
So, fun fact about this scene, this song should be a lot longer, but they ended up cutting it down because some of the jokes in it were a little too raunchy. You can find the full version on
Animaniacs type thing.
Spotify. I can kind of see
Oh,
where
real? Oh, I have to look that
yeah,
up.
I can kind of see what they meant. But then again, the Muppets really wasn't meant for kids, and I feel like this movie was very much a prime example about how the humor was more adult oriented.
It's like what we talked about with Shrek. So
Like the
yeah,
Muppets didn't really start doing like kid material until like the late 80s.
yeah, yeah. When the Muppets first came out, it was very much more of like a young adult teenager type show, and then
Oh
it really
yeah.
kind of just it's like evolved into being a kid show. Ham hocked by breakfast.
So this next part used to scare the ever loving shit out of me when I was a kid.
Like I said, I don't remember. It's been so long since like I said, I know I've seen the movie, but I don't
Like
remember.
this went
Obviously, fake
dark.
guns.
Like this went fucking dark.
Yeah.
And it gets even darker later in the movie too.
Okay. I'm not bit for. Oh, shut up! We only known each other for 2 days. Oh,
Like
shut up!
recognize this guy.
Yes.
Yep. Mel Brooks.
Oh, oh, yes, this is perfect.
One of my favorite cameos that he did.
Which he'd appear in pretty much everything, if I remember correctly. If you offered him, he'd be like, "Yeah, I'll show up."
Yeah, at the time he was doing everything, it seemed like.
That's fine.
His,
Yeah.
his name was probably in the movie in the credits, even if he wasn't in the movie, but just because he made cupcakes.
But yeah, mind you, he's always kind of been he's. I feel like because he's always been comedic. Obviously, I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Did he ever have a time where he did something serious? And I don't think so. But no, but he's kind of like, to give you an idea, he's kind of like Nicolas Cage in that if you offer Nicolas Cage a movie, he'll do it. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter what the movie is.
even if it's a complete shit show, in the most literal aspect, he would still say yes.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage will do anything. And
Um,
oh man, but yeah,
Now, this part used to scare the shit out of me because I totally missed the part where the crazy mad scientist doctor says that they're gonna turn Kermit's brains to like guacamole. I totally missed that this was a brainwashing going up. I legit thought they were trying to kill him in this part. That's like he's just scaring the crap out of me.
well that reminds me. The first time I read Starship Troopers for the first time, I was way too young to read Starship Troopers. But they have a line in there where this character buys a farm. Well, it's like this bought the farm. I thought the character legit bought the farm, and only later did I realize that means they died. I thought he retired when he bought a farm, but no, nope. Like I said, I was little when I read that book, way too young to have actually read the book. Let me just put it this way: I didn't understand allegory at that time.
Oh my god! Wow.
I was young when I first read that. All right, I was really young. Oh, nice knife. That's actually a thing. That ain't a prop. That's a real knife. Wow. Did you make me an offer? Ow. Go out like a frog. Professor KMD. And the cheapest model you could possibly make to have the clamps.
Yep.
I do obviously want just to pull your arm down. The electric beanie. Wow, for real.
Legit, you can understand
Like,
why
like
that totally
yeah.
went over. You can understand why I totally missed that this was a brainwashing.
Well, yeah, obviously. You would actually think they were actually going to rip his brains out of his head almost.
Right?
Kosher bacon. And she just hulks out.
Yep.
Ouch.
She goes hog wild.
Hey-oh.
But
No, okay, the model's eyes are so much bigger now. Ouch. Seriously, look at that size. Oh, wow.
What's this all about?
Pig the WWE style shit. Ouch.
Oof.
Yeah, and then they put him in, and then yeah. Yep. That's one hell of a first date.
I'm so glad mine with Moody was not nearly this exciting.
Yeah, thank you. Much more concerned about her career than.
Yep. Hence why I said she loves her career a little more than she loves Kermit.
Yep, thank you. Thank you for saving my life, I guess. Yeah. Oh, and the old burn through film.
Yep.
Back when you could actually burn through the film.
Kids these days will never understand
Yeah.
that joke.
Oh, the chef. I love the animals chained down to the chair. But no, he eats the chair. Yep, thank you. Waldorf and Statler were always my favorite.
Oh yeah. There's a can or a fandom theory that they're really just everybody's parents and
I believe
they're
it.
they're they're to see what everyone's been doing. Granted, they've been dragged along to it, so they're disgruntled.
Oh, and yeah, the hills are alive with the sound of music. Anyway,
The timing of that was perfect.
I try.
What are they?
Yeah,
First they're in the Grand Canyon, then
and
they're at
South
Mount
Dakota. Yep, thank
Rushmore.
you. Mount Rushmore. Obviously, I'm just curious. Did they actually? I seriously doubt they did this. I'm pretty sure what they did is they just got like the actual footage from someone and just
Yeah,
bought the footage versus actually getting a helicopter to go up and do that.
like stock footage, basically.
Yeah. Here's some smarts and the heart of the American bear. Okay. What the fuck?
Told you that's dark.
They got really pissed poor aim.
It might even be on par
There's
with
no
that of
way
the
they would
Stormtroopers.
hear you if they're firing rounds and you're dead.
Their aim is so bad it might be on par with the Star Troopers.
Clearly. Is this yeah, clearly. Oh no, this isn't the Snake
Yeah.
Boy. Isn't there a Nazi-inspired character in this movie somewhere, or am I just imagining that?
Nah, I think the closest we got to a Nazi-inspired character was the mad scientist doctor.
Probably. Ouch. Probably. Which is unfortunate because Nazis are the one thing everybody makes fun of. Everybody agrees that you can make fun of
Yeah.
Nazis. No one does it anymore.
Here again.
Hey, look who it is! Drive by. Don't
Yeah.
stop.
It's like, great. First you saved my life, and then you abandoned me for your commercial. That's how you roll.
Yeah, just leave her. Which is, by the way, which is why you never, ever, ever like step on someone up in your career ladder.
Yeah. I'm not above love, kissing ass,
Yeah.
little brown nosing, but there's a difference between that and stepping on someone's toes.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I mean, because what I've always been taught is never, ever, ever step on someone on your climb up, because those are the people you're going to see when you fall back down.
Bingo.
So, yeah, right. No.
Hello, dear. We're snarking the Muppet movie. You want to join us?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Moody.
Hey. Hard to doing really good, and then the other guy just I was gonna go beat the other guy. Just,
Boo.
Why are you shooting the prongs on your trident thing?
Huh?
that was your lunch.
Good. I had 3 mimosas. I regret nothing.
Thanks.
Did you just say you had 3 mimosas?
Yeah, I went to brunch earlier today.
Regret nothing?
Bingo.
Fair enough. Which, by the way, I should mention, there's a few weeks ago, my family went to a brunch. But I show you the pictures when I was with my family. Went to a brunch, and where we went to brunch at had unlimited mimosas. My brother regretted every single life choice he ever made. He got wasted. It was hilarious. Nice sunset.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, actually, oh man. Actually being able to go out and see the stars, that's something I really miss. Because unfortunately, I could do, when I was a kid, I could literally just go outside and see all the stars. I can't do that anymore because South Sioux Falls has grown so much.
I
So
wish
if
we had done that on our way to Grand Junction.
Yeah. I know I wanted to so bad just stop and just take like 10, 15 minutes to just get out and look at the stars.
Oh,
I mean,
as
I know I had problems driving while I'm driving, so
right, because it was so icy.
yeah. So much for Hollywood.
Yep.
Yeah, I never promised we'd make it. That's why you don't pick up everybody who asks to come with you. You go there on your own.
But you see, that's the point that he makes. They wanted to come. He never told them they should.
Yeah.
They came with him because they believed in the dream.
Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, this movie's almost a musical with the amount of times they sing, honestly. It's not really, it doesn't really cross that line of actually being a musical, but
I think that's
pretty
kind of
close.
what they were going for, especially because all the Disney properties, it's kind of what they'd become known for.
Yeah. Mind you, this wasn't owned by Disney when it was made, but
Not at the time.
but
Not
yeah,
at the
but
time,
Disney
but
was still
Disney was.
fucking Disney when it.
Yeah. Even
Yeah,
though
I mean, Disney was still.
they were kind of entering the
Yeah.
Disney Dark Ages at the time, but that was still what they were known for, was sprinkling in songs and everything.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, that's how Disney became so freaking successful. Is like they had all these musical hit after hit after hit after hit. That's why Disney owns everything now.
Yep.
Yep.
Haha, I own your soul.
Well, like I said, sooner or later, I'm just expecting to get a letter be like, hey, by the way, Disney has bought you. Not the Snarkfest. No, you keep that, but we bought you personally. Your soul is ours.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
At least you get money for it though.
Yeah. They might fuck you over on your royalties, but you'll get paid.
Well, it reminds me of an old joke. It's like, this word is so evil and so foul, I will get censored 16 times for saying it. So I'm just gonna say final. Well, what's the actual word? Disney.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah. Which, mind you, I don't think Walt Disney was actually setting out to create an evil empire when he made Disney, but it's kind of evolved to that. Which I should mention, I've gone camping in the Badlands. It is so fun to just go hiking in the middle of the night in the Badlands, though it's very, very stupid. Don't
I
do it
believe it.
because,
I believe it.
well, let's put it this way: if you're not paying attention, you're gonna slip and fall and die. It's hard enough to hike in the Badlands in the day, man. You want to hike there at night? Holy cow!
So far, I'm not at the stage of my journey to Hollywood where I've had a deep monologue with myself, but I'm getting close. I feel like I'm getting close.
I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have to videotape you having a deep monologue with yourself.
That'd be pretty fucking awesome, actually. I might be able to enter it as a piece in the monologue competition. Although, for what it's worth, they'll tell you for auditions, don't write your own monologue. Those don't tend to land very well.
Fair enough.
Unless you have really strong writing chops, don't do it.
And knowing me, I'd try to turn that into a musical number because hell, why not? I'm trying to think of like an old Shakespearean monologue, but my mind's drawing a blank.
Shakespeare doesn't usually land well at auditions either, unless it's strictly for theater.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I remember I used to be able to quote not Hamlet. Oh fuck, what was it? It was one of his others, but I can't remember what it is. Hey, electric. Yep,
Yep,
we're
Dr.
back.
Teeth and the Electric Mayhem come to save the day.
Hooray!
And break the fourth wall.
You should read the script.
Yep, he read the script. He literally says he read the script and he got to the part where they show up in the desert to save them all.
I forget. Is that actually the legit joke?
Yeah.
Thank you. Why not?
Once again, you know I'm going to be listening to this on my way to LA.
Yep. Like I said, it's a real shame we didn't listen to this on the way to Grand Junction, but
Right. How come you never whisper
oh god, here. Whisper sweet nothings in my ear.
Yeah, dear, why don't you ever whisper motorcycle cop to me?
You ever asked?
Really? That's perfect.
Yeah. Well,
It's the PI. Okay, dude, you got it. Yeah, he wouldn't actually go on the bus like that, but
Right.
Hey-o. A little ghost town. There's an actual little ghost town not too far from here, from where I live, actually.
There's a few here, actually, too.
up in the mountains.
Yep.
Nice. That doesn't surprise me
Back
at
the
all.
place where The Stanley Hotel where they shot The Shining is haunted.
Wow.
Yeah.
One of our state's most famous landmarks.
Yep.
And the horse skeleton. No, but yeah, it's one of those things where if if you ever come out to Sioux Falls, I was gonna show it to you because it is super creepy. Go. You're the one he's hunting, so how about you send someone else who he's not hunting out to check it out?
But he
Yeah, you're the one he's
earlier.
hunting.
He just said earlier, I can't spend the rest of my life running away from a bully.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Why not? Oh, that reminds
Yep.
that reminds me of something. That reminds
Oh yeah.
during the 4th of July, my uncle, or not my uncle, one of my cousins bought one like a rooster, firework, lit it. It does a whole sparkly thing, but then stops, and he comes up. I paid $5 for that. As soon as he picks it up, it starts going again, and he threw that thing to high heaven. This is the only street in town. Yeah. Perfect for my latest invention. Insta growing pills.
Shit.
So many dick jokes that could be made.
Yep.
He sounds like he's tried them.
Yeah.
Okay.
An animal. That the temper. An animal eats them all.
You're close.
Now this is just making fun of Deadwood.
Yeah.
Say when, sir.
Yeah, here we go. We get the whole Hollywood, the whole Western vibe here.
Yep.
Yep.
Insert
Thank
firing
you.
joke here.
For the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yep.
Understood.
Do they actually play the music? I have my TV pretty much muted, so I can't hear if they're actually playing the music or not. But because that's
No,
the
we
thing,
can't.
I always try to avoid getting a copyright strike. So when I watch these, I'm pretty much watching it on mute.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I don't
We-
want to get a copyright strike again.
Right. We have the volume down really low.
Yeah, you are crazy for chasing me halfway around the country when all you need to do is get a frog.
But it has to be a singing and dancing frog. That was the whole point of this.
It's not that hard to get an animatronic fake frog.
Might have been back in those days. I don't know.
Who are my friends? Who are my friends? Max, you're my friend. No, I'm not really. Max, here's $1,000, so you're my friend. Okay.
Anything stronger than the power of friendship? Yeah, anything except for good.
Wow, thank you.
Magic.
Now I'm going through the whole Yu-Gi-Oh vibes of I gotta trust him in the heart of the cards and friendship and blah blah blah. It's like it's a card game. Just pull the damn card.
Red fails.
Well, it's a freaking meme now of I gotta believe the heart of the cards. This card is useless.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, this was my dad said this was my favorite part when I was a kid.
I wouldn't be. Rumble, rumble, rumble. And Godzilla animal. Which is very obvious what they did for the shot. It's just a simple model made, but
Yep.
obviously they didn't really make a model that big. It's just like I said, they just cut here and then the green screen top and just do SWAT screens. That's all I have to do. It's super easy. You could do that now I could do that now with my phone, all right? Hollywood, which is apparently heavily graffitied. Apparently the
Yeah,
sign is heavily
it
graffitied.
is. It is. Also, I've been to the Chinese theater. It's not all it's cracked up to be. Lots of homeless folks. Mm. So this
Never
next
been to California,
cameo.
so I don't know.
So this next cameo, that is the late Cloris Leachman, one of my favorites.
Oh no.
Yep, she passed away earlier this year. That was one of the few celebrities I
I
actually
remember,
cried when they passed away.
I remember hearing about that. Damn. Yeah, but yeah, she was also in kind of just in everything, wasn't she?
Yeah,
Yeah, she was in a lot.
and she was one of those
I don't
actresses
think.
where her career just got better and better and better as she got older.
Yeah,
That gives me a little hope as somebody who entered the game where everyone's half my age.
don't worry, you're just gonna be Betty White. What are you talking about? Which, to be
Gold,
fair, Betty White is
gold.
awesome. All right, she is awesome.
Betty White, she was alive before sliced bread, so sliced bread is the best thing since Betty White.
Yeah, and Chuck Norris looks under his bed for Betty White because she's awesome. She's a badass. All right, let's just be real here. And apparently, super from what I've read, if you like people who met her, she's like overly friendly. It's like
Oh yeah.
now. Which is one thing I always wonder about celebrities, because there are a lot of celebrities who are just, don't you know who I am? And they just look down at people. But yeah, like
Oh
right from what
yeah.
I understand, I never met her. Having never met her, I can only speak from what I've read. But from what I understand, she's just not just like friendly, but like overly friendly.
Same goes for Dolly Parton. I actually have a friend
Yeah,
who works at
I know she
Dollywood
is.
now. Yeah, a friend of mine works at Dollywood and got to meet Dolly.
Yeah, which is not something that always gets me when you find celebrities who are just like Ellen DeGeneres, who just looks down at everybody. It pisses me off. It's like, you do realize these are your fans. These are why you are you. These are why you're famous, and you're looking down on them like that. Seriously?
Right. Well, it's like the era of like YouTube now. Like a lot of YouTubers have so much respect for their fans and stuff.
And
Like,
then you
Yeah.
have a
Oh yeah.
handful like the Paul brothers who are basically who think they're the greatest thing since sliced bread, of course,
Screw
because they're
those
YouTube
things.
famous.
yeah, and I can speak from experience because I actually met Markiplier at a gas station,
Mhm.
and he was so humble. I remember I was like, I literally say, "Excuse me, are you Markiplier?" And he's like, "Yeah, I am." He's like, "Do you want a photo?" And I'm just like, "Well, I need my phone." I was like trying to get my phone, but I was stumbling. And
Yeah.
it's like, just actually, it's okay. You can go now. He's like, no, seriously, I can wait. And so humble. And I
That's
couldn't
awesome.
get my phone to work because my phone was like dying. And so he's
Yeah.
like, no, okay, at least your surveillance cameras got me. He's like, yeah, I'm good on these. Like, yeah. it's,
Yeah.
it
Well, that
surprises me.
reminds me of I remember I met Nick Landis from Team Four Star, the guy who plays Vegeta in Team Four Star. Very
Yeah.
much like that, just super friendly. Mind you, he wasn't like the top of the world friendly, because I mean he's like, dude, I'm really sorry I haven't slept well. I apologize, but he was still very nice. So Which, mind
yeah.
you, the reason I met him is I was literally just going to a restaurant, and this was around the time he was here for a convention. So he was
Mhm.
here for the convention because he lived in Minneapolis, and Minneapolis is 3-4
Yeah.
hour drive from here. It's not far at all. So
Yeah, mine was just he was I was just working that day and he stopped in the gas station, used the restroom. And I was like,
yeah.
wow. Like it just shows you how humble
Oh gosh,
guys
I'm
are.
sorry. They just had a shot with Kermit in front of a bunch of mirrors. And I'm just like, oh god, I know production hates those because if you have a shot in the mirror, production has to make sure they're not in the shot, and it's a pain in the ass.
This is another one of my favorite songs in the movie that I can guarantee I will be listening to on my way to LA.
Yeah, production number. Yeah, like. I mean, I should mention. I talk a lot about like the production crew, and that's because, like I said, I've made a lot of high school films or a lot of films in high school, and it is such a pain in the ass of like. So every time I see something, like of like a great example is that I see a girl cut her hair in scene, I know production is shitting themselves because you can't do a quick take after that. If something bad happens, you're fucked.
Yeah, you can't reshoot it. You have to literally write it out of the script, and
Yeah.
that's so much work.
Yeah.
That's like a writer's worst nightmare.
Yeah. So, like I said,
I've
I
learned
whenever
so
I
much
watch stuff
today.
like that, it's
Because then the writer has to redo the entire scene, not just that one part, it's the entire act. Oh, shoot, then it's the act, the entire act.
I am learning so much today.
well, it's just it's very hard to do a quick. A great example is it's very hard to do a quick change when your lead actress is soaking wet. Okay, so
That is true.
Yeah. Rolling nothing. Nothing.
I love Animal. Animal was always my favorite growing up. I do remember that.
I was telling you earlier about how
Out.
I was telling you earlier about how I guess if I had a favorite, I would also say Rolf is my favorite because he makes me think of my dad because that was always his favorite.
Fair enough.
Moody, who's your favorite Muppet?
Actually, I like Gizmo.
Or Gonzo?
Gonzo, yeah.
Yeah,
Gonzo,
Gonzo.
Gizmo,
That's fair.
different.
Gonzo, yeah.
Sleazo Cafe.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, Gonzo. Yep, Gonzo goes again. Bye bye. And what they did there for that shot, what they did there is there was the actor was actually had his hand up in the puppet and then pulled it down real quick when they lifted and then they lifted the puppet away. That's
Yeah, I also like Beaker.
yeah. There's no good one, Beaker.
Always get hurt somehow.
Oh yeah.
Start blow up in his
Oh,
face. Speaking of blowing up,
but yeah,
Yeah.
this is why this is why quick change like I said, whenever I worry about production, this is exactly why. Imagine if that actually happened during shooting of an actual thing. It would be a fucking nightmare and people would probably get sued.
actually, did you
If
read
not,
sorry.
yeah. All right.
It reminds me of the making of The Wizard of Oz, how they the actress who played the Wicked Witch of the West
Yep.
caught on fire.
Yep. She suffered like third-degree burns.
Or skin paint, yeah.
Yep. That movie was a
it was bad. Let's
nightmare
put it
from
that way.
start to finish to film. I heard it was just
Yeah.
an overall miserable time for the production crew.
It was. It was. Well, I mean, like a great example for the flying monkeys. Obviously, they were not real monkeys, but yeah, it's like okay, so you got real little people here, and that had to, each of them had to go through like 4 hours, 5 hours of makeup and do their shit. Yeah, production was a nightmare on that movie. Yeah,
Hey,
nice
look who
rainbow.
finally caught up with us.
The end. What is the Bigfoot's guy's name? I forget his name.
Jack.
Jack. Oh yeah. That wasn't a joke. I thought it was.
Yep.
Like I said, it's been forever and a half since I've seen like the Muppets as a thing. So Sam the Eagle. Okay. Nice. And the nephew frog, Robin. You said his name was
Yep.
Robin, right? Yep.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
Yep. I was saying earlier, Moody, they had so many, so many guests. They had like Dom DeLuise, Richard Pryor, Steve Martin, Mel
Well,
Brooks, Horace
guest stars.
Wilson,
Look at
Jason
the
Welch,
list.
the
Bob, I didn't see Bob
at the end of the movie.
But yeah, they just showed special guest star. It's like the list is so long. I didn't see Bob Hope, but
Yeah, Bob Hope was in this one.
I wasn't really looking for him though. So yeah. It's Carol Spaney as Big Bird. Wow. Paul, yeah, I knew Paul Williams did the music score, obviously, because I think he still does for them. Richard L. O'Connor, of course. Wow. So I'm just looking through the names. It's like a lot of the people have actually gone to have quite successful careers. Like I said, Paul Williams, of course. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Ben Nye
man.
did the makeup. Ben Nye was like the name in Hollywood, and that's the name that every cosplayer recognizes for like special effects makeup now.
Well, yeah. When he did this, he wasn't really a thing. Now he's become a thing. So, Ben Nye too. So.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, but I mean that's something I do love about watching like a lot of old movies. Just look at the names attached to old movies, and it's like, it's like at the time they were just a little thing like Jaws and Steven Spielberg or oh fuck, who did the music for Jaws and Star Wars? Oh my god, my brain is completely dead.
We're already home.
John Williams. Yeah, John Williams is a great example. When John Williams did Jaws, he was just a little music composer. No one know him. Now he's John fucking Williams. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Animal.
But Animal, we already are home.
All right. So yes, that was the Muppet movie. It's better than it's a lot. It's a movie. I kind of regret not having not watched it for so long because that was actually really good.
That's how I felt the first time I rewatched this a few months ago as an adult. Like I said, it's way, way better rewatching it as an adult than I ever remember it being as a kid. You don't get that a lot with movies from your childhood, but that was one of them.
I really regret having not watched it for so long because, like I said, I know I watched it as a kid, but just oh my god, it's been so long, and now I'm just like, damn, I'm almost it's like, damn, I should have watched it some more because it is awesome.
It is.
So.
Just cutting edge for its time. All the jump hit, all the right notes. So many celebrity cameos. That's like a little snapshot of history in Hollywood.
Yeah,
and
no doubt.
The overall message of the movie's fantastic too.
That was brilliant. I love it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for joining us. Next week I believe Marie will be back, and I believe you will be joining us as well if you want. I don't know for certain. Depends on what we're decide to watch.
What are we reviewing next week?
I don't know. No one's ever actually said anything, so I don't know.
Well, if Marie's on next week, we can do Shrek 2.
So I did have an idea of something that we could do. I don't know if you want to take part in this. I'll tell you off stream because I don't want to spoil anything. But
Okay.
so yeah, thank you everybody for joining us for the Muppets, and we will see you next week. Good night and good night.